Hi, I'm Gothy, and I'm giving something new a go. Having seen a lot of vlogs on YouTube with people talking about books and movies and stuff, I've decided to come out of my shell a little bit more. I'm going to do this as well. So even though we're only 6 days into 2014, I've already got myself 13 books. And I have 2 more on the way. Shit, chair. My chair is a piece of old secondhand crap, so it squeaks.
She's sounds like she's farting all the time.
So one of the main places I get my books from is a website called Booktopia. They often do in-factory sales and stuff like that, which I've gotten a lot of books from. And by a lot, I mean upwards of 60 books. So the 3 that I've got from Booktopia this month is Scarred Man by Bevan McInnes. It's the second book in the series, and I haven't actually read the first one yet, but I got the first book for $1, and I got this one for $2, so why not? I also got Lothair by Kresley Cole. I love vampire books, except for Twilight, because Twilight was a piece of crap. So I like good vampire books. I also have Styx by Sherilyn Kenyon, and it is a very, very big paperback. And the text isn't too big either, so it's a lot of reading. I am a big fan of the Dark Hunter series by Sherilyn Kenyon. It is an absolutely fantastic series. If you haven't read anything from it, just pick up any Dark Hunter book. There's no particular order for most of them. The Chronicles of Nick, which is a subset of the Dark Hunter series, does have an order, and it's also a very good sub-series, and you should read that too because it's awesome. And today, while going out for groceries, I found George R.R. Martin, The Armageddon Rag. I haven't been able to get through too much of the Song of Fire and Ice series. I've just found it really hard to sit down and get into it. So I'm hoping that maybe his other stuff might be a little bit more engaging. I picked this one up for $4 because it has a bit of glue on the spine, which I'm pretty sure I can get off with a little bit of eucalyptus oil anyway. So score for me. The other place I usually get my books from is my library. They like to get rid of a lot of their old stock, so they get rid of them for 20 cents a book or 6 for $1. Most of the time they're the ex-library condition, so they usually have a little tag on the side and a barcode with a cancelled stamp over the top. But for 20 cents it doesn't really matter. So I've got Untamed by PC Cast and Kristen Cast. I haven't read any of the House of Night series, so I'm looking forward to trying that. And this one caught my eye today as well. It's Fairy Lord by Herbie Brennan, and I think it's the 4th book in the series, so I'm 3 books late. The other thing is though, sometimes my library gets rid of non-shelf books, so they're basically brand new, and they just get rid of them for 20 cents. So these ones don't even have a barcode in them. Most of them don't even have the spines broken, so most of them haven't even been read. So I picked up Sherilyn Kenyon Born of Ice, which is the League series, not the Dark Hunter series. Gina Showalter, Heart of the Dragon. She's another author that I really enjoy reading. She does a lot of fantasy stuff. Sherilyn Kenyon Born of Night. Again, this is just basically a brand new book. There's some creasing in the spine, so it's been read, but there's no marks on it. I got Sherilyn Kenyon Born of Fire. Vampire Academy by Rochelle Mead. This is another series that I haven't actually read any of yet. I've been meaning to, but just never really felt compelled to pick up a book. So 20 cents, why not? And from my local Salvation Army store, I picked up Tempted and Burned by PC Cast and Kristen Cast, which are more of the House of Night series, and they cost me $4 each. Now, my local library not only sells a lot of books, but they have a really good collection of books and of graphic novels. So, the ones that I have borrowed out at the moment, this one's called And Their Memory Was a Bitter Tree, and it's a collection of short stories by Robert E. Howard, and it has these really nifty drawings and illustrations in there as well for each of the short stories. And I thought I'd give it a go because I've never read anything by Robert E. Howard, so why not? The other graphic novels I have at the moment are Curse of the Worgen from the World of Warcraft series, because I am a WoW nerd. I've got Batman Through the Looking Glass. I have Batman and Robin Dark Knight vs. White Knight. The Amazing Spider-Man The Gauntlet. I have, why are they sticking together? An X-Men comic. The George R.R. Martin Game of Thrones graphic novel, which I've been looking forward to coming out so I can have a look before I decide whether I want to buy it or not. And this one I'm really happy about finding. It's The Night of the Owls. It's a Batman graphic novel. It's by Scott Snyder. And the reason I know it's by Scott Snyder is because I was watching Comic Book Men a few weeks ago, and they had Scott Snyder on to talk about this one. So it's very new. I'm pretty sure I'm the first person to have borrowed it, and I'm very much looking forward to reading it. I never really liked Batman before. I've always been more of a Spider-Man fangirl, and by fangirl I mean obsessed. So I've been really getting into the Batman comics lately. I like a lot of the darker storylines, so I'm hoping this one lives up to how good Kevin Smith said it was. At the moment, this is what I'm reading. I'm just a few pages in. I not long ago finished The Book Thief, so this is next. I have a book called Above by Leah Bobbitt. I'm not too sure what it's like. I've never read anything from her, but it's a fantasy book about a little fairy girl, so up my alley. I have Will Grayson by John Green, and this copy is surprisingly beat up, so I'm actually thinking that if I can find 2 copies for a reasonable price, I might buy 2 and I might donate one to my library, because they just recently bought Allegiant by Veronica Roth and let me borrow it first before anyone else got to it, so yay. I also got Heart-Shaped Box and Horns by Joe Hill. I have copies of these myself, little paperback copies, that I got secondhand off eBay for about $5 for both. But at the moment they're buried in my bookcase somewhere, and I just cannot be bothered to drag them out of there. And I will show you my bookcase in a moment, and you will understand why. But that is what I've borrowed and what I've bought just in the last 6 days. Yes. Hit the button. Hit the button, hit the button, hit the button. So this is my bookshelf, and this is... I have a very limited amount of space at the moment, so it's kind of chockers. There's a heap of books up here, and Spider-Man and World of Warcraft Monopoly, and Spider-Man Monopoly. But here we have my Anne Rice, and we've got more Anne Rice. There's some Sherilyn Kenyon, my Sylvia Plath, Gina Showalter. My Hunger Games series is back there. There's some other ones back there. Stephen King. And then we come down and we've got Cornelia Funk and Septimus Heap. We've got Silent Bob in there. George R. Martin. And Carrie Arthur, Sean Ull. And more books. And then we get to another very chockers one. So there's 2 rows of books, and I'm pretty sure my Joe Hill books are somewhere at the back there, so I'm not going to touch them. And there's a heap of large books behind all the stuffed toys there. I also have this collection of cross-stitching books. My comic books are over here, and they are mostly bagged and boarded. Then we have graphic novels, art books, and a David Bowie book, because why not? And that is my collection of books.